Reading in the Content Area, Three Important Areas by Matt Yoder. The first important area that was relevant to me was considerate versus inconsiderate text. Considerate text is when authors consider the limitations of what students may know and write with these considerations in mind. Authors of considerate text try to review or reference earlier material when that material is needed to comprehend new information. When presenting new content to students, writers of considerate text carefully define new ideas and try to relate things to student experiences. A perfect example of considerate text would be classroom textbooks. My accounting textbook is written in considerate text where it references prior knowledge learned by students. Inconsiderate text is a result of a poor sense of who is reading the text by the author. Authors place too much emphasis on the reader's background when it comes to inconsiderate text. Sometimes a reading text can be considerate and inconsiderate to students. This is because students have different prior knowledge. Sometimes portions of entire textbooks can be considerate and inconsiderate. This could be because different authors are contributing different sections to the book, and one or more of those authors is not being realistic about their readers' knowledge. Considerate versus inconsiderate text relevance to my classroom. When it comes to considerate and inconsiderate text in my classroom, I have different ways for dealing with both. First, I always try to use considerate text when possible. Secondly, when I have to use inconsiderate text, I make sure I give my students a review of vocabulary they will encounter during the reading, as well as introduce new concepts they will see during the reading. For example, I have students read business articles in my small business class, which are meant for business professionals or adults. My students are only in 11th and 12th grade. I give them prior knowledge before having them read the article in order to give them background. The second important area that was relevant to me was graphic organizers. Graphic organizers are diagrams showing how key concepts are related. Research has shown that graphic organizers are highly effective at helping students understand the relationship between concepts. Graphic organizers are also beneficial to students with learning disabilities. There were various types of graphic organizers mentioned in our textbook. Here are a few that were mentioned: tree diagrams, Venn diagrams, timelines, labeled pictures, sociograms, and semantic maps. Graphic organizers' relevance to my classroom. Two of the graphic organizers mentioned in the book that I use all the time are tree diagrams and Venn diagrams. I use a tree diagram for breaking down the management structure of a business. Shown below is an example template. I also use a Venn diagram to show the differences and similarities between an IRA and a 401k. Shown below is an example. The third important area that was relevant to me was the directed reading activity, also known as the DRA. The DRA is a 5-step plan to improve reading comprehension by preparing students for what they will be reading. The directed reading activity also follow the reading with discussion and activities to help increase comprehension. There are 5 steps to the directed reading activity. Step 1. Develop readiness for the reading activity. This includes developing the background of the subject material as well as new vocabulary. Step 2. Set purposes for reading. This is telling your students what you want them to come away with after reading the selection they are about to read. Step 3. Arrange for students to read silently. Step 4. Students discuss what has been read. In this step, the students and teacher will respond to the purposes set in prior steps. And finally, step 5. Extend students' understanding of the material. This includes assigning different activities for the students to help stimulate thinking. The directed reading activity, relevance to my classroom. I really feel that this is the best method to help students comprehend what they are about to read. I do this in my classroom, but I just never knew it was called DRA. I personally feel that allowing students to read silently in the classroom is a very good idea. It allows the teacher to help those students struggling with comprehension who would not even attempt to read the selection if it was homework. In conclusion, there were many things I learned in this class. Considerate versus inconsiderate text, graphic organizers, and the directed reading activity are just 3 of many. A lot of the theories and strategies really fit well with my own opinions. I would strongly recommend this class for all teachers. It really helped me take a look at literacy, something I have never formally been exposed to before.